Whenever I go to an estate sale or a garage sale, if I see a relatively inexpensive retro PC that isn't complete garbage, I pick it up and I bring it home. And sometimes I have found really cool stuff in these old PCs, and sometimes they're just boring stuff. Over the last year, I have brought a lot of these PCs home.
And that's just the ones that I haven't already done something with. I might have a problem.
Tales of Weird Stuff Presents. Retro PC Repairathon, Part 1, Triage.
Alright, the first one up on the block is actually the most recent one. I just picked this up last weekend, so beginning of February 2024. I don't know why that was hard to say. This is a weird case design with this like green, I don't even know, like this green on it. I'm not sure what to make of it. So looking at the back, it's a AT keyboard, PS2 mouse port, VGA, pardon me. Reasonable by the color coding, a reasonably modern sound card. Looks like a modem, no network. So if I'm gonna have to guess, this is probably a Pentium or very late 46 based on the positioning of the VGA card. I'm gonna guess it is some kind of AGP card. I'm not sure if that was I liked how the you can't see it now, but the USB ports on it are labeled scanner and printer, because you better get them connected into the right ones. Oh man, that is such a flimsy case lid. Okay, so that's interesting. It has 2 hard drives. I was not expecting that. And socket 7, so it is some kind of Pentium. Oh, that's actually... Is it? All right, I'm going to pull out that sound card and we'll take a look at it. Wow, it looks really clean. I'm impressed. Now, at the sale, I did try to turn this on. There was a monitor with it. The monitor came on and lit up and did its, there's nothing connected kind of thing. I turned the computer on and it seemed totally dead. Wow, it looks really clean. And that was all. I did no other testing than that. But for the price they had on it, I figured the monitor was worth that and that there would be something in here to part out. Everything seems seated fine, and I don't see... So it has a little coin cell battery, so we aren't going to be suffering battery damage. Was I correct about AGP? I was correct about AGP, and if I had to wager a guess looking at that card, I'd say maybe... probably a TNT M64. It kind of has that, the low-end NVIDIA look from back in the 90s. All right, so I'm going to plug this into power. I don't see anything, obviously, to say danger. So I have a new monitor over here that has my recording PC on it, and the old monitor's over here that I'm going to use for testing these computers. Okay, it comes on. Let's see if I have this set on. Okay. Sounds like something is really trying to spin up, but is not spinning up. I can't tell if that's one of the hard drives or the optical drive, but it's warp. I don't see anything. All right, well, let's turn this off and grab a postcard and see if that tells us anything. Okay, that in there. Maybe I'll be able to to tilt this up so that the postcodes will be visible on it if it lights up. FF. Oh, that's different. Oh, so I hit the reset button. Still nothing on the monitor. But now the postcard says 42. I guess it is entirely possible that when I hooked this monitor up, I didn't get the VGA cable connected into it right. It's for sure in and on, and it is on the correct input. All right, so maybe we just have a dead video card. I do see down here a couple of caps that are bulging. Doesn't immediately look like they have spilled. Let's pull this video card out, and I ought to be able to find a different known good video card and see if that. Let's see if this fast wear on the ROM. Oh boy. No indication to me of what this video card is, but just by the look of it, it has that NVIDIA look. Oh, all right. So I'm going to end up setting this to the side, and I think we'll try something else. Actually, first, I want to pull out this sound card and take a look at it, see if it is something interesting. Okay, so I saw the XG logo, and I got excited. I thought it might be a cool Yamaha card, but it's not a bad card. But it is not the cool thing I thought it would be. All right, I'm going to put that back in. I'm going to take my postcard out. And actually, no, I'm going to go grab a known good video card. I grabbed the ET6000 card that I was using last year in my... Oh, you turkey. I thought I was clever. I'll pull out the modem card so I can put this PCI card in a PCI slot. It's always an adventure. All right, so now this should fit in here. All right, take 2. Huh. So now I get just dashes on the postcard. Hitting reset, it tries to do some stuff. Okay, so that's a much less angry beep. But still nothing on the display. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to move on to the next computer. I'm going to put all of its original cards back in it. But now I'm really curious about what the heck is going on with this machine. Next up, super generic looking, very yellowed PC with a 48 speed CD-ROM. Nothing terribly interesting about it now. The back is got... So, judging by this, I'm going to guess that this looks an awful lot like Sound Blaster All-64s that I have. A video card with S-video out and composite out. Interesting. USB 2 PS2 mouse ports and an AT keyboard. Well, I'm gonna guess that this also is probably another socket 7, about like the last one. Although, judging by the location of the video card, it is Probably not AGP, just because it's so far from the keyboard connector. I'm going to guess that it's probably a PCI video card, but we shall see, because I have not opened this one, or that I recall tried to turn it on or anything. So it is a complete mystery. And looking at it, looks like I was right on all counts. This is an A64, and this is an ATI Rage Pro. Oh, with the memory expansion. That's very, very fancy. All right, I'll pull that out in a moment to look at it. Now, this board that has the USB slots, the mouse slot. What is that other slot? Oh, IR. Okay. Is connected to the motherboard, and this other what? So this goes to the PS2 connector, and that feels like an excessive number of pins for a PS2 connector. That is weird. Oh my gosh! And all right, I have to I have to pull this out. I may regret this, but I have to pull it. Now that's a DIMM. Oh, and it's both sides. Holy smokes. Fujitsu chips. I don't know what capacity these are. I have some other DIMMs. I tweeted a picture of a DIMM like this. Holy smokes, years ago, and I think that DIMM was like 64 megs or something. I'm going to guess that this giant mammoth DIMM is also a silly low capacity. Let's see, what was that going to set in there? No, it's going to be difficult. Or am I putting it in backwards? I'm putting it in backwards. There's your problem. All right, that seems set in good, and it is socket 7, Asus motherboard, Intel chipset, coin cell battery, all very good signs, and I can't really read all these fancy lights, and I can't get enough light down in there. I cannot tell what the chipset is. I am not sure based on looking at that, and I don't see, aside from it being an Asus branded board, I don't see a obvious model number on here. Aha, okay, so I do see some really small silkscreen numbers way down here that say 82 something TX, and so the TX was I think that was the last Pentium chipset that Intel made. And that's interesting because I thought that was an AGP chipset, but maybe I am misremembering. All right, well, let's see if this one wants to light up and party. Put the postcard in here just in case. This also looks just immaculately clean inside, so I mean, I thought the last one would work. I think this one will work too. Oh, the CD-ROM drive is angry. Oh, AMD K6 300. It came right up. All right, it's just complaining about a keyboard. I think this is all good. All right, I'm gonna set this one back to the side. If there's time, I may come back to this and play with it. It is a 430 TX, so this is a really late Pentium-ish. I might even keep this one. We'll see. So there's a couple immediate oddities just about this case. One, it has an interesting locking mechanism up here, and it's labeled RS, and the other one says LS. Well, I'm assuming right side, left side, F, and up front and rear. So maybe when these side panels get taken off, it's hard to tell which is which. Okay, so in terms of the back, this is an ATX board with no onboard sound, although the I/O shield has slots for onboard sound. I don't know how much of this is coming through. Network card, VGA card, sound card that does not have color-coded ports, and a modem card. I'm going to guess that this is a Pentium 2. This is probably an early Pentium 2. Maybe even a like a 440 LX motherboard. Which would actually be interesting to me because I do not have any motherboards right now with that chipset. What do the arrows tell me to do here? So that and then push down. Oh, well that's interesting. Okay. Whoa. So the last two were pretty clean, and this one is pretty not. Okay. I was correct. It is a Pentium 2. It is a 350, so it is going to be a BX because the LX wouldn't do the 100 megahertz front side bus. It's another Rage Pro. Although this one is AGP. And this, when I got interested about the sound card on that previous computer, I thought it would maybe be something like this because of the XG logo. So this has got a Yamaha 724 chipset. So this is going to have really... Oh! When PCI sound cards started to become a thing, DOS compatibility was an issue because a lot of things want to... The way that you program sound cards in DOS, those IRQs... The PCI IRQs don't come through the same way. I don't know exactly how it works. But for the BX chipset, Intel tried to remedy this ish, and so there was some way where in the chipset, sound cards could have a cable that connects to a special port on the motherboard where it could trigger those ISA interrupts. And so a card like this would have actually very good DOS FM synth compatibility. So this is a really cool. I have a couple others of these. I think I have one that has the cable and maybe a motherboard that has the cable. So that is actually a very cool sound card when paired with a motherboard like this. So this is very dusty, but all the memory slots are full. All the capacitors look okay. I don't see anyone bulging. Fan moves, so it's not seized up or anything. Ugh. It is very dusty. All right, well, let's go ahead and give this one a try. Now, I see that it has a serial to PS2 mouse adapter and an AT to PS2 keyboard adapter. So far, I've been pretty good about guessing what's in these computers. And it comes right up. 440BX motherboard. No keyboard present. Everything else looks fine. Oh man. Which fan? Is that the... That is a loud power supply fan. Alright, so I probably will not keep this, but I will for sure be doing some kind of servicing on that power supply fan. Oh, whee! It is super loud. So far, things are going pretty well. I've had two that just work, and one that's dead as can be dead. So let's take a look at this one. This is a compact ProLinea 4/50. So I'm assuming that it is a 50 megahertz 486. I had one really similar to this 2 years ago that I did some service on and then sold. Oh, and it uses Torx screws because why not? It has on the back, it has integrated graphics, integrated everything, and the one that I had before, the integrated graphics was LocalBus ET4000. So it's actually really decent performance. PS2 keyboard and mouse, I see some little bits of what look like corrosion. So we may have some battery juices in there. So at the very least, I'm going to open this right now. I'm assuming that it is going to have, because it's a 46, I'm going to assume that it will have a leaking battery. So I will remove the battery. Hopefully the damage won't be too bad. Why is this not... What am I doing wrong here, folks? Does that stay on and then just this comes off? No. Does it... What is happened? Yes. Okay, it does just come off. Okay. And let... So I see empty RAM slots. And this does not appear to have memory on the motherboard. I see disconnected all kinds of cables. So the floppy cable... Alright, so somebody... Okay, so there is a leaky battery. It actually doesn't look too bad. It looks like it could just work, but there's no memory. And it's kind of dusty. All right, so I'm going to take out this silly modem card. These old compact screws. Every time I have to work on one of these compacts, I just... Shame on you, compact. Shame on you. So it does have ET4000AX, likely local bus. So this would be a good performing computer, assuming that the leaking battery hasn't tested it. Now I am actually going to try to fire this up. It is not impossible. This is not impossible for this to work. Now I'm going to complain about the Torx screws, but Compaq did used to put a lot of useful information inside the computer, and so they were, I guess they weren't all bad. All right, let's see if this does anything. Where will that go in? Oh, you've got to be joking me. Well, I'm going to try it without a monitor right now because the VGA connector has one of the holes plugged, like from the factory. What? Okay, I take back what I said before. All bad. Oh, we get some postcodes. Is it gonna... So there's a speaker. Is it gonna yell at me? It is not gonna yell at me. Okay. So I would expect some angry beeping. It does come up with a code of 47. I would expect some angry beeping due to lack of memory modules, but there's none of that. So, all right, I will have to set this in the other pile to be repaired. I'll put this modem card. Actually, I am going to disassemble this enough now so that I can go ahead and get that battery out. Okay. Ooh. So that's pretty icky, but the damage on the motherboard is not that bad. I think I'm going to have to just extract this all the way. That's interesting. The IDE cable, the middle is connected. I don't know that I have ever seen that before. That is odd. bottom looks. I mean, the bottom looks fine. 50 megahertz crystal. That is an all of the insertion force CPU socket. All right. Hope is, okay, I don't know how to interpret that code to know what this CPU is. Let's see if I can get this clip off without destroying anything. What is the right method to get that off? Let's see if I can get the tip of these tweezers under here, maybe? There, okay. And this is okay, that's interesting. That is a CPU I don't have in the collection. I don't particularly need one. It's a 46DX250. I was anticipating this being just a 4650. Not. Oh, now the real question is, which way is the correct way to go in? Ah, okay. Pin 1, the notch. Okay. I'm going to set that to the side. All right. I'm going to go wash this off. Try to very gently clean up this area and neutralize the acid and let it dry for a couple days. This will likely come back for a part 2 of this repairathon. All right. Getting near the end, we've got this big beast. There's a couple things. There's a couple things I love about this computer. One, I always find it awesome when I come across a computer that has the fake floppy drive faceplate. And then whenever I come across computers that have, these old 250 megabyte tape drives, every tape drive that I had in a computer back in the day, and I had several of them, when I eventually needed, oh no, something catastrophic has happened, I need a tape, I need to restore from tape, the tapes failed. 100% of the time. That was the nice thing once zip drives came around, is that they were way easier to verify. Like, was my data actually backed up? Am I going to be able to restore it or am I going to be double sad? Okay. So this has got, it is really dusty. Some kind of US Robotics modem in the bottom. Parallel serial game port. It's, warning. I don't know if this is going to show up on any of the cameras. There's a sticker that says warning SCSI port, so that you don't think it's a serial port, I guess. Sound card with a volume knob. VGA, AT keyboard. I am going to guess that this is some kind of awesome 46. Like someone's tricked out server. Just because it has that age on it, and it doesn't seem like, although it could maybe be like a Pentium 60, like that kind. That would also be cool. Let's see what we got going on in here. Oh my goodness, we've got all kinds of, oh hello. Well, I'm really hoping that this works and that it isn't wrecked by batteries. Although I don't see. Oh, there is a battery and it is leaky, but it doesn't look very bad. So this is interesting because these slots, and you can tell by the different color. So here is a regular 16-bit ISA slot, and these slots that are they're the kind of brownish, I guess. I don't know what color you call that. like AGP sockets are, that is a 32-bit EISA slot. And I have been wanting an EISA motherboard for a super long time. And it's got VESA local bus too. Wow. Wow. All right, that is a cool motherboard. All right, everything's going to have to come out of here so that I can get the battery. Well, the battery doesn't look that bad. It's got a fan on the CPU, and it has one of the larger CPU sockets, like could take an overdrive. And this video card here, just looking at it, I think it has the look of one of those Ytech 9000s, like the Viper VLB. Because I've got a couple of those, although I can't see the chipset through all the dust. Let's see if this thing will fire up. I'm pretty stoked about this. And it's got a SCSI card on it of some sort. So the SCSI card, where does that go to? Does that go to a disk? It goes to a SCSI disk, and there's an IDE disk that's not connected, but I don't know if that's because I disconnected it. There's something weird going on with this connector. What is this all about? Floppy? Oh, okay. So it's got the okay. So this computer is so full of weird stuff. So it uses the old style edge connector for, like 5 1/4 inch floppy disks, but it's a 3.5 inch drive. Now the thing about it is it only has one row of pins and then one other pin, because all of these pins on the bottom row are ground. So it just has one ground, because, by doing this adapter like that, they saved half a penny on making that connector. When I was working on another video today, and I mentioned in that video that I can be cheap. Not that cheap. All right, let's see if this does anything. All right. Oh, is the display gonna light up? Oh, heck yeah. 32 megabytes of RAM. So it is some kind of Ytech GXA 9000 Photon Torpedo VESA local bus. Okay, so that's the video card. Battery low. I don't see anything that says what the CPU is. All right, I'm gonna have to. Let's see if the BIOS says anything. No, it doesn't say anything about what the CPU is. Okay, well, I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna put this. Actually, no. I'm gonna get that battery off of there, and this is also gonna go in the clean pile. And this will come back because this will be a fun toy that I want to play with. So on an earlier computer, we had the adapter so that you could use a serial mouse with a PS2 system, and this is so you can use the PS2 mouse with a serial port. So I'll just connect those up. Oh, and the cable's not quite long enough to make it loop. I'm curious about this sound card that has a volume knob. Based on the size of it, I'm going to assume Sound Blaster 16 of some flavor. And it is Sound Blaster 16 of some flavor. CT1750 Sound Blaster 16 MCD. So I'm assuming that MCD is multiple CD. Yes. This is from the bad old days where there was the Mitsumi CD-ROM interface, there was the Panasonic CD-ROM interface, and then I'm going to assume that this is probably what was the other one? Sony was the other one? Yeah, there's a jumper selection on there for Sony, and that is picked, so hooray for proprietary drive interfaces. I looked at the Diamond Viper kind of version of this card. That is really in there. The Diamond Viper version of this card, and it has absolutely awful DOS performance. Oh, that's a fun looking bodge. I gotta zoom in for that one. Look at that. That's pretty. That is pretty messed up. Oh, so that's a thing that's kind of interesting. So it's full of zip RAM, and they're socketed. I don't know what to make of that. That is unusual. This PAL chip says 2 megabytes on it, and there's a jumper for 2 megabyte or 1 megabyte. So this is the predicted chipset. Every card, I've seen a few different cards with this chipset, and they all look the same. Okay, well, so there's additional RAM chips over here. So is this... Okay, so is this a megabyte over here and then another megabyte over here? That is interesting. Okay. And then let's have a look at this SCSI card. It is dusty in here, and I'm seeing little bits of what looks like some kind of animal hair. All right, so it's a VESA Local Bus SCSI card, which is interesting. Okay. So let's the light. VESA Fast Cache? So I have other caching controllers. In fact, I have another caching controller right here that I just got. So usually a caching drive controller has stuff on it that is very obviously RAM. It isn't always Sims, but there's RAM chips. There's your cache. But none of these chips are obviously RAM chips to me. They all look like 74 series logic and PALs of some kind, and then whatever these two, presumably one of those is the SCSI controller chip. Wow, that is a resistor. Huh. Okay, so that is interesting. It is full of RAM. And I'm gonna actually. I'll wait. I will extract this motherboard, and then we can find out what the CPU is together. Oh, and someone put the screw in. Here's something flop around. Put the screw in so tight I can tell that as I'm unscrewing it, it's actually unscrewing the standoff from the motherboard. Don't put those screws in that tight, folks. And you may be able to see on here that, so this one, the screw threads from the motherboard standoff, or from the case standoff, are still there, but on this one, it is unscrewing. So this is going to be a real hassle to get out of here. The annoying part is I can see that standoff is coming out so much that I can see it's bending the motherboard. Oh, and that is disconnected. I wonder if I just did that. There's a tiny little resistor has come broken off, or has come disconnected from one side. I need to be super, super careful about that. Let's see, can I zoom in on that? So this little BC2 has kind of come undone. I don't know if I just did that, if that was previously done and it didn't turn out to matter. Sometimes the most important tool to use is the one between your ears. Or so they say. Alright, well now we can get a more clear look at this motherboard. The battery damage does not look particularly bad at all. I mean, the system booted up and was working. Well, I mean, at least posted. I didn't boot it up, but so that's a good thing. Off you go. Ooh, those are some crusties. Actually, I think that's just the. Oh yeah, it's just the label. Oh yeah, that is actually not bad at all. All right, let's find out what this CPU is. I'm gonna guess DX266. Although that would be weird to have a fan on it. And it is a DX266. Okay. All right, and so it had 32 megs when it booted up. So these are all 4 megabyte sims. So that is also cool. 2 VLB, 3 eISA, 1 16-bit ISA, and 2 8-bit ISA. What a collection of... what a collection. And then, let's see if I can figure out from the jumpers on here the cache size. So it looks like available cache sizes are 64, 128, and 256. So I'm just going to guess that it is, yeah, those are 256s. Okay, so 256K of cache. All right, this is a nice motherboard that I got to just in the nick of time. Now I have, what's fun about this is I have an ATI Mach 32. I have a VLB version. I have an ISA version, and I have an eISA version, and I think I might have a PCI version. They made that for, I think there's even a micro-channel version of the Mach 32. So now on one board, I can compare 3 different versions of that card and see how the performance varies. So that I am very much looking forward to. That will be fun. All right, there's one more left. It was the one in the giant box, so I'm going to extract it from the box over there. I know it has a sour battery on it. All right, we'll discuss that in a moment. All right, so this is the computer that I got on my giant road trip to Bend it was in its original box. It has manuals for a modem, a Mach Speed VGA, Super. I don't know if these are. I'm trying to remember. I have not looked at this. I mean, I got this out and took a peek at it. When I did the pickups video. Oh my gosh. All the wrapper crinkling. Okay. I took a look at it when I did the pickups video about this, but I have not. I put it back in the box, and I completely forgot that it existed. It is a very just soul-crushingly generic-looking PC. There's not even anything particularly interesting on the back. It doesn't. Poor thing doesn't even have a sound card. I mean, it's got a modem. And if I remember correctly, I think I broke this warranty sticker when I did that pickups video. Oh boy. I think I'm going to be sad when I look in here. I do remember that it had a leaking battery in it at the time. I don't remember if I removed said leaking battery at the time. Oh, that's right. I did not remove the leaking battery because I'm a bad person. So there were a couple things about this that were weird and interesting that I didn't understand. So it has VESA local bus, but just an ISA video card. Okay. It actually has 2 VLB slots that are separated by what? There's 4 slots in between them? That is weird. I have not seen that. 8 SIM slots, 4 of them populated. It has a TI 46 DLC, and then over here it has a socket for, a proper 486. So this is just a weird board. Like this, what system integrator did this? Everything about this is just weird to me. The reason I thought I was going to be unhappy is the keyboard connector looks just miserable. I fully expect I'm going to have to replace that keyboard connector. The battery has the little ice crystals all over it, but it does not look like the rot has spread. So I'm going to guess there's actually a chance this will work. My recollection is this is a weird video card that I don't have in the collection. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this system. This is just it's just weird. I'll say it again. It's just weird. All right, let's see if this has any life in it. Oh, it beeps. Oh my gosh! Stuff comes up on the display. All right, 4 megs of RAM, Realtek VGA BIOS. Okay. I'm gonna add this board to the pile of boards. I'm gonna go ahead and extract this while I talk. I'm gonna add this to the pile of boards to get mild battery damage repair. So what did we have of the? How many systems were there? 2, 4, 5, 6 of the 6 systems. 2 of them just worked. 3 of them had 3 of them? 2 of them. 2 of them just worked. 2 of them had mild battery damage that they just need to be cleaned up, and I think they're going to be fine. 1 of them had more severe battery damage, and will likely need some more help. And then that other socket 7 system that just did not want to play. It was a so little crumbly bits of what used to be a rubber band, but is now no longer flexible like it used to be. It's one of those things that happens with age, folks. You're not as flexible as you used to be. So I think, yes, I'm going to get these systems cleaning up, corroding batteries removed, get the acid neutralized, get them cleaned up over in the sink, let them dry out for a couple days. So I will end up tinkering with that. That's interesting. So 3 of the screws on this motherboard are the kind of domed tops, and this one is flat. That's odd. Oh, that was the other thing about this. I don't think what is a fear chipset? I have never seen that. Is why would you call your product that? It just seems like a bad choice. All right. So I'm going to pick off these last bits of rubber band. And then I'm going to zoom in. I feel like this keyboard connector is probably shot and will need to be replaced. The neighborhood around the battery actually does not look too bad. Again, remove this foul thing. Ooh, yeah, that one's got a lot more on it. So I'm gonna take that over and get that cleaned up. But I mean, it booted, so the damage cannot be that bad. I don't know if I will end up keeping this motherboard or not. It is kind of an odd thing, and I'm also noticing now that I look at it, I didn't notice this before. It is a DLC 40, so I'm assuming I'm assuming that means 40 megahertz, which means 40 megahertz bus. Otherwise, it would say DLC2. And they did make clock doubled versions of at least the SLC. They made a clock doubled version because I benchmarked one of those in my giant batch of Doom benchmarks last year. So this is... Oh, wait a minute. That is... I'm confused. Okay, so this just got a lot more interesting. And this will probably end up being its own video. Because inside this socket, I was expecting this to be a socket for a 486. But inside of it, it says 387? Which, I mean, the 46 DLC goes in a 386 socket, but that is an enormous... Like, even the YTech math coprocessors aren't that big. I mean, that is the size of a 486. It's got missing pins. Okay. This will require additional investigation. And that is a weird, is that a bodged resistor there? That's weird. I'm going to look at this more closely. That is bizarre. Yeah, that is one of the strangest bodges I've ever seen. So there is a surface mount resistor, and one end of the surface mount resistor has another surface mount resistor that connects to one pin of this IC here. That I've seen a lot of strange crap, but that is well played. Well played, folks. Okay. Now I really am going to take all those things over, get them cleaned up in the sink. I will start working on that other video, or on that other system. So these systems, these motherboards, all this stuff is going to return in a part 2. I am really trying to get a bunch of stuff that I have hanging out fixed up and in tip-top shape, because I'm going to have a booth a table at SideQuest Expo in Portland the weekend of March 10th. It is a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. It's at the DoubleTree or in the Lloyd Center area of Portland. If you know that part of the world, I'll put a link to the SideQuest Expo webpage. It's a fun event. I've had a table at it the last 3 or 4 times that it's happened. I really enjoy it. I enjoy being a vendor there. It's fun. I'm going to try and get a bunch of this stuff ready so that I can try to sell it and make space in my basement here for more weird stuff. If you are interested in seeing the follow-up repair videos where I actually get these things into tip-top shape, I highly recommend that you click that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you clicked the like button. If you have any thoughts about some of these weird computers and what might be going wrong with that Pentium machine that just would not cooperate at all, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And until next time, try to remember the good stuff.